Welcome back. I'm Kevin Locken with Under Construction, and in this video we're going to talk about a brand new build that we're taking part in. This footprint is about 40,000 square feet. It's a freight company, and in this video in particular what we're going to be talking about is some of the pre-planning that we've done, some of the site conditions that we're having to deal with, and some of the shakeout that we're going to have to eventually do. This is going to be part of a series where we're going to take you guys from the start of the build to the finish. And so what we're going to hit in these is just the milestones of this project. So to start the series off, we're going to head out on site. We'll see you guys out there. Welcome everybody to our newest project. I'm going to take you through a couple of things here first to talk about the site a little bit. The site overall dictates what we're actually going to do, and this site in particular doesn't have a lot of room. This is a 40,000 square foot footprint, and we have, as you can see, just a little bit of room past the corner there right now. So I'm going to take you guys over there and show you what we have to work with and what some of our solutions are to get a little bit of space on this site. One of the site conditions that we're going to have to work with is space on this back side and the far side. The guys actually bought, the ownership of this property actually bought 16 foot of corn all the way around so that we could actually get lifts back here. So they went ahead and cleared it, because right here the backfill is so new and it's not compacted yet that if we brought our big lifts in there, they just sink. So what we're actually gonna do is all of this graded property back here where the corn was, that's actually where we're gonna bring our lifts. So if we were too tight on here with bringing our lifts in, because that bucket of the boom will tip into the building, our solution was buy the corn and actually stretch out the boom further so that we can actually get these backside of the walls. One of the other site conditions that we're having to work with is the erosion of the site. And one of our ways to solve that solution is, if it's raining during that particular day, we really can't be on site, because then we're just being part of the problem, not part of the solution. So we're trying to get a couple days here, chunks there, to where we can actually assemble the project. But for the first 2 weeks, it just didn't allow us to. So we were just kind of, going here, setting up, unloading trucks, going ahead and shaking out, not doing any assembly, because the more weight we put on this, the more that we're gonna be the part of the problem, not part of the solution. And that's not what we wanted to do. So these treads right behind me are a little bit of an example of what we're having to deal with here on site. It's not compacted enough, or we just don't have enough fill in there, and that's just per the engineer and architect's drawing. So I think we got about 10 to 12 inches of aggregate on top here, and as you can see, with a couple inches of rain, it quickly gets tore up. The first part of what we do when we come on site is the assembly of projects. Sorry, I'm actually having to walk over all the divots in the ground here. We get about 7 to 10 trucks. I mean, like I said, this is a 40,000 square foot project. We get about 7 to 10 trucks that we have to unload, and they don't necessarily come in a particular order. They'll come in a package order, not a okay, this one A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's not how it goes. There'll be components of, okay, here's your columns, here's your joists, here's your beams. Those will all come together, but they're not necessarily, okay, your beams, columns, trusses all come on 1, 2, 3 trucks. No, your siding might come, your roofing might come, stuff like that. So what we have to do in the first order of business to be on site with the build is to do all the shakeout. So right now, the guys this week have shook out their columns, their beams, and their trusses all over here. So when we go ahead to grab or pick those, the guys know, okay, we've got column, and I'm just using this one right here, CPP26, to go ahead and get it on this pad over here. So a lot of it is just the pre-planning, and we've spent weeks and weeks and weeks pre-planning how this is going to come out. Okay, when we get the siding, when we get the roofing, the columns, the beams, where we're actually going to place them on site. So that's our first order of business. And like I said, we've had rain, and so that's kind of, kicked us off the site a couple of times. And so that's give us a little bit of extra time to pre-plan for this. But overall, when we're in the pre-planning stage, a lot of time can be wasted or can be won in that stage. And that's the overview of the project. We've talked about some of our coordination, we've talked about our pre-planning, some of the site conditions that we're dealing with between the rain, the corn, and having to get all of our materials inside of the foundation walls and then move them from there. And typically when we're looking at a build, we have them from the outside and we pick and erect from there. But that's not the case in this build. If you guys would like to follow along, please like and subscribe, and we'll be happy to show you guys the rest of the build when we actually do start putting up the columns and the beams and the trusses, which is going to be our next video. But any comments, questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them for you guys. And as always, see you in the next video.